I'm Jim Lafferty. I'm the director of the National Lawyers Guild in Los Angeles, also a member of the steering committee of the Answer Anti-War Coalition. And the group that's here today is protesting, of course, in a wonderful way. And these folks are just asking him to do what the clear will of the majority of the American people want him to do, which is to signal loud and clear that it's time to get out of Iraq. Bring the troops home now. And so far he's not made that commitment. So they're here, and I understand that some of these folks are, if necessary, prepared today or down the road to get arrested on behalf of their convictions. And I think that's a powerful sign that the anti-war movement is just, which has been active for years now, is really reaching a fever pitch. March 17th will be huge demonstrations on the 4th anniversary of the war in Washington and here in LA and elsewhere. More civil disobedience actions, more and more soldiers saying no to the war. Over 1,000 active duty GIs have already said that they plan on being in Washington at the Pentagon on March 17th. Now that's a risk for a GI to take. It's a very brave stance for a GI to take while on active duty but home on leave or whatever, to say they're going to go to the Pentagon and protest the war. We saw that during Vietnam. It helped turn the tide then. We're seeing it now. And that kind of courage, ought to say to Congressman Waxman, who requires no courage at all to do what the people have asked him to do, to vote what the people of his district have clearly said he should vote. Get out of Iraq, get out now. And so I would hope that he'll be hearing the message, if not today, come next election.
No, we'll be
Hello.
Hi, guys.
We just wanted to deliver our letters. Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought it's
We're here
maybe
for
like
MoveOn.
2 or 3 in there.
Yes.
There's no way that this office is going to hold everybody.
There's two things going on at the same time.
Yeah.
It's a busy day. It's a busy day.
So 2 or 3 people
So we just
up,
wanted
because they
to
can
thank you
tell us.
guys for
Thank you.
the position that the congressman took on the escalation. Thanks.
Okay, who else has
We
letters?
had 11 of us in his office before, so I don't see what the problem is.
There's a
I
lot
have
of letters.
a whole bunch of letters in
here.
here.
There's more
Okay,
coming.
as soon as she gets done
There will
with
be more
hers,
tomorrow
you guys can
and
do.
more that will be
Okay.
mailed. I
That's
read
me.
through a lot of them. People seem really unified. They
The wrong
really
time for that.
want him to support the fund.
Okay.
So I
Call
hope
you
you'll
back.
read through
You're
them. I
right.
hope you'll
He's
read
moving
through
in,
them.
in that direction.
And,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot going on outside.
That's what I heard.
We're planning on being here at 3:30.
Okay.
If for any reason you want to move it to another location, you just
Yeah.
let me know.
Okay.
There'll be about 7-8 people.
Okay.
The Rosanis, I talked to them today. Their daughter hasn't had the baby yet, so
Okay.
they're still planning on
Great.
coming.
Great.
If something changes,
Great.
I will let you know.
Good.
But there'll still be
Good. Well,
some
he's-
people that will represent
Good. He's looking forward to it.
that. And, if he's ready to commit to the defunding, I would love to.
Well, maybe I'll get to sit in and be a fly on the wall.
Right,
too
I would
tomorrow.
love for him to be able to come and tell
Okay.
the people who will be
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
To know that
So-
he's moving is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what all of our actions are about, is to let him know that we've
Yeah.
got his back if he
Right.
does decide to move.
Yeah.
We're all his constituents. I'll
Right.
step in.
Good.
So it really is something we feel strongly about,
Yeah.
and some of the letters are really heartfelt. And one of them, the guy said, "Please, George Bush, don't send my son for a second tour in Iraq. He's due to leave in a week or so." And that kind of thing is something that comes right from the heart of these people.
Sure.
And this is a guy who fought in the Vietnam War,
Right.
as I did,
Right. Well, the congressman's meeting tomorrow with the family who lost their son.
Yeah.
So.
from the district.
Yes, from the district. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
I know he appreciates all of your efforts.
It's not that bad now.
Good.
My name is John Crampford.
Hi, John.
I published a book last year which I dedicated to the congressman, and I got a really nice signed handwritten note from him, which is on my wall now.
Great.
So please tell him and Karen Lightfoot thank you very much.
I will.
And to investigate the hell out of Bush.
Yeah. We're working on it.
All
We're
right.
working on it.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Don't worry, he's not going to relent.
Good.
Thank you.
You can
Hi.
introduce yourself and then we'll let her
My name
go.
is B. Reddick. I'm a Vietnam veteran.
Yes, sir.
And I would like to ask the congressman to investigate thoroughly the conditions in Walter Reed Hospital.
He's already come out very concerned
Someone
about
should
that.
take responsibility.
Definitely.
And not some sergeant down at the lowest
Yeah.
level.
No, it's really troubling.
Thank
Really
you.
troubling.
I joined because I had loved ones serving in the Air Corps and in the Navy, and I wanted to help in some way. I began service as 1942, stationed on the East Coast, and served until the war's end in 1945. I was assigned to the hospital corps as a pharmacist mate, first class, and I stayed that way. My first assignment was on a Marine Corps aircraft landing base in North Carolina. I served there in a Navy hospital for a year, attending to severely injured young soldiers and sailors whose lives had been tragically changed. I then was sent to Philadelphia Naval Hospital, where I worked with other devastated patients. One young soldier who had suffered the loss of both legs from the hips down had a square board with wheels on it, and he used his hands pushing on the floor to move himself around. Yet his spirit survived. When asked, "How are you?" he would reply, "Well, I can't kick." When I think about the war in Iraq, I am reminded of the anguish we all experienced at the rise of dictatorships in the world. Then Joseph Stalin in Russia, Benito Mussolini in Italy, and Adolf Hitler. As I face what is happening in our own country and Iraq, I am so reminded of those dictatorships that destroyed democratic rights. I am afraid that the same thing is happening to us now. We must stop the escalation of the war. Thank you.
Please identify yourself.
I'm Betty Mill.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I'm Joseph Hanania. I myself am Jewish, okay? At the time, in the 30s and the 40s, when my parents lived in Iraq, a quarter of Baghdad was Jewish. Okay, there was a sizable Christian population. My father founded a hospital with a Shiite Muslim partner, a private hospital in Baghdad, and that hospital was staffed by 3 Catholic French nuns, okay? It was a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious society, okay? What religion you belong to or what cult, what particular segment you belonged within there really wasn't that big a deal, okay? And the fact is that the Arab world is where civilization largely started. Quite honestly, I feel torn about what's happening in my native country, and I would really like to see the violence end. I would really like to see, it really hurts me that American soldiers are dying over there for a cause which I think is a non-cause, and it hurts me that Baghdad, where I was born, is getting destroyed. Thank you guys for being out over here. The reason why I'm here is because I was actually born in Baghdad, and my family immigrated over here in 1951. And I want to tell you a little bit about my understanding about what's going on in Iraq. And I should tell you that I marched against the war before the war even started. When Bush was planning to go to war or so, there was a demonstration in downtown LA, and then there was another demonstration in Santa Monica by the beach, and I participated in both of those. And I felt very strongly about it even then, even before the war started and started going wrong. And the reason was because I grew up in a different culture than a lot of you people did. And the culture I grew up with as a first-generation Iraqi American was that I really understood that a lot of things that Americans take for granted, the way they see the world, is almost the opposite. It's almost the opposite of the way Iraqis see the world. I thought that our going to Iraq to preserve, quote, democracy over there would be like if the Iraqis came to America after the 2000 election and said, well, gee, there's been fraud in the American democracy, so we're here to help you guys, okay? Now just imagine, even those of us who thought that the election was stolen would probably go against the Arab armies and say, hey, what are you guys doing over here? Let us solve it on our own. But the thing that they were able to take advantage of over here was the fact that most Americans really don't know very much about Arab culture. And that's something where I kind of instinctively, since I grew up within that culture, even when my parents were here, I grew up, we had Arab culture at home, I instinctively understood it.